In the previous video, I showed you how to connect LOCATE to QuickBooks Online. Simple. In this video, I'm going to show you the next step. Map the accounts from LOCATE to QuickBooks Online. I'm Lance, inventory software expert since 2006, and I've got QuickBooks up here. I've got the chart of accounts up, and I've got LOCATE up right here. And we have this article that says, what are LOCATE's default account mappings? Click on that, and this will prove invaluable to you as you reference. So the accounts we're going to focus on are the required accounts, and you look for that by looking for the asterisks here in the middle. This top account says it's optional, so we're going to go down until we see required. Okay, here's required. Let's keep going till we see another required, so on and so forth. So you'll go down and say, okay, this account is required, this account required. So once you do that, as you look at each required account, what you need to do is compare that account with your chart of accounts in QuickBooks Online and ask yourself, do I have this account on my chart of accounts? And if you do not, then you need to create it. So let's go back here. Accounts payable. Everyone's got that, right? Keep scrolling down. Required account inventory offset. Chances are, if this is the first time you've added inventory software to QuickBooks Online, you probably don't have that account. This is the account that the inventory software uses when you're just receiving the inventory. So you receive it. Once you receive a purchase order in LOCATE, it's going to debit inventory asset and credit this inventory offset liabilities account. It's not a bill yet, but it is a liability. So this is another current liability account that you need to create. All right, let's keep going. The other account, required account. This one is, here's another one that's required, and it's the LOCATE Tax Liability. And you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, why is this required? Do we need this? It says that this is required even if you're not using the tax platforms. This is one of the rare times that LOCATE requires an account, even if you're not using the related feature. You'll notice just above this, it says optional account based on if the cells are prepaid then required. So basically, if you use the related feature. So this is another account that you're going to need to create in your chart of accounts. Now you may think, well, we already have a sales tax liability account. Yes, I'm sure you do, because when you create a new account in QuickBooks Online, it does this for you, right? Now this is one thing that's interesting, is QuickBooks Online will not allow the third-party inventory software program to write to that default sales tax liability account. There's reasons for that I won't get into in this video. We could really get down in a rabbit hole on that topic. But for now, it's good enough to know that you need to create a new sales tax liability account that LOCATE can use or not use. Kind of interesting. So you could just create a new sales tax liability account on your chart of accounts called LOCATE Tax Liability. You might end up with two sales tax liability accounts. One is the original default one, and then the other one is this required account. So let's keep going. Optional, sales income, required. You probably already have a sales income account, and we can just map to the one that you already have. Keep going. Optional, required. Here we go. Cost of goods sold is required. You probably have a cost of goods sold account already, so we can map to the one that you already have. It does not have to be called this. It can have whatever name you give it, and as long as it's a cost of goods sold type account. Okay. Now, what if you have multiple cost of goods sold accounts? You might be asking yourself, well, which one should I say is default? Which one should I map to. This same question could happen if you have multiple inventory asset accounts or multiple income accounts. So what a lot of my customers find they like to do, and what works really well for them, is they will create kind of a red flag account called wrong locate mapping or ask accountant or do not use, okay? And the reason for that is you'll map the default to it, but each individual part will be mapped to the account it is supposed to be mapped to. And I'll show you that here. You can actually map each individual part in Locate to a specific income or a specific asset or a specific cost of goods sold account. So that's a good way to do it. Set up a default, unassigned red flag account if you have multiple accounts, and then map each individual part to the other account. So let's keep going. Optional, 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 optional. Here we go. Not seeing any more required accounts. There we go. So just a handful of required accounts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my chart of accounts. I've got 2 QuickBooks accounts up. Let's make sure I go to the right one. And yeah, it's my Sandbox for Locate account. And I'm just going to go through the chart of accounts and make sure I have the required accounts. So I'm going to take this documentation here, move it over to my other screen so it's easy to see. And I'm going to start at the top and say accounts receivable, yep, got it. Inventory asset, yep, got it. And just work my way down. Accounts payable, yep, got it. Okay, so you get the idea. Go back and forth from the documentation, see that it's required. Locate tax liability. Let's go back over here to my other current liabilities. And I've got some other liabilities accounts on here that I was just messing around with. So let's create what I was recommending. We'll come up here and click New. Doesn't like me right now, doesn't want to respond. I'll just refresh the browser and try it again. Click New, there we go. Well, be careful. Oh, I see what happened. It switched accounts on me. I've got to close this other account, and I'll close this account and get back into my sample file that I was using. Okay, there we go. I'm back into my sample file that I was using, and we got my chart of accounts back up. Now if I click on New, it will say, yeah, let's create a new account. So other current liabilities, it's going to be sales tax payable is the type of account. And we're just going to call it, what was I going to call it? Locate tax liability. There we go. Save and close. We got that. And then scroll down on my documentation. What's the other one I need to create? Sales income. I'm sure I have that already. Let's just double check. Let's look for my income accounts. And I've got all kinds of income accounts. And here we go. Sales and product income. So there's one already there. I'll use that. So we'll keep scrolling down. Cost of goods sold. Where's my cost of goods sold? Where are you, cost of goods sold? There it is. Okay, yep, good. We've got a cost of goods sold. And where's my next required? Probably went past it. It was that inventory offset. Yeah, I went past it. So inventory offset, we want that in there. Let's see if I put it in there. It's a liability account. And yes, I did create that already. Okay, so we're ready with the inventory offset account. Now we should be good to go. So now we're done preparing our chart of accounts, making sure it has all the required accounts. On another video, we'll probably add more accounts because even though they're optional, they're required for some features, right? But for right now, we're just doing the basic required. Now we're ready to go to Locate and map the accounts. So I'm logged into Locate here. I'll go over to the right-hand side and click Setup, then Services. Click Services. And I've already set up the QuickBooks Online service and connected. So I'll click on that. There's my QuickBooks Online service. It's active, so that looks good. And I'm going to click on, let's pull this up over here. I'm going to click on the account map right there. Click, and here we are. We have a list of all the accounts Locate can map to, all the different types of transactions, all the different possible posting transactions, or possible accounts used by transactions. So there's no labels here either of what's required and what's optional based on the feature that you use. So I'm going to refer to my documentation again for the ones that I'm unsure of, but there's some that are just obvious and easy to remember, like accounts receivable. Yep, we need accounts receivable. There's one account, easy. Okay, so I'll go do this next one slower. Inventory asset, I click on edit, click here, select the inventory asset account I want to map to, and then click save. So, and then keep going. Partial payments, capital, accounts payable. Yep, that one's obvious. I'm going to do that one. Required. Click save and scroll down. This one is fresh on my mind. Inventory offset, since we just talked about that. So I'll go over here, click edit, click there, and it's just, notice it's just giving me my liability accounts. So it sort of helps us and points us in the right direction. You can also just start typing in the accounts you're looking for, and it'll start to narrow it down just by typing it in. And click save afterwards. So you click edit, select the account, click save. Locate tax liability. Click edit, click in there, locate tax liability, click save. Use tax, sales income. There we go. Yep, I remember that one was like product sales or something like that. Sales of product income. Click save. Sales return, shipping income, cost of goods sold. Remember that was the other one. Click edit, cost of goods sold, and save. Shipping, inventory purchase variance. Let's just scroll down, see if we missed anything. A lot of other COGS there. Inventory scrap, inventory adjustment, inventory consumption. Now, inventory adjustment doesn't say it's required, but gosh, that's a common activity, wouldn't you think, to adjust inventory? So when you adjust inventory, it either debits or credits inventory asset based on if you're adjusting up or adjusting down, and then it credits inventory adjustment expense based on whether you're going up or down, right? So that's a good one to add. If I haven't already added, why don't we just add that really quick? We'll go back to our chart of accounts, and let's see if we have an expense account called inventory adjustment. Oh, look at that. I already did it. I already had one in there. So let's go back, inventory adjustment. I could have just clicked on it and been just fine. We'll click edit, scroll down here. Where are you? I'm just going to type in then there's a lot of expense accounts, and that narrowed it down. Just typed in narrowed it down, click save. Okay, so now I just want to double check with the documentation, this great article here called What Are Locate's Default Mapping, and just scroll down to each required account and make sure I got all. If you missed a required account, Locate will let you know when you try to perform that activity, perform the activity that's related to that account. Like if you try to receive something and you don't have an inventory offset account, it actually won't let you receive it. Or if you try to enter a vendor's invoice into Locate using the reconciliation screen, it won't create a bill if you don't have the account map. It won't let you finish the transaction on the screen itself. So it has some foolproof features in there that don't let you go forward. And then, yeah, we've got all these mapped. So let's go back to this screen. We've got all the required fields mapped. There's no save button. There's, as you remember, there's actually a save button on each individual line. So there's no overall save button. And that's it. You're ready to start entering in receipts, reconciliation transactions, basically posting transactions that use these required accounts. shipments. A shipment will credit inventory and debit cost of goods sold. And we've got the inventory account and the cost of goods sold. It'll also credit income and debit AR. And we've got our income and our AR. So there are some other transactions we'll go over in the next video. I'll see you on the next video.